King Charles III and his wife, Queen Camilla, held a reception with members of the Kenyan diaspora at Buckingham Palace prior to the state visit to the East African country. This will be the third foreign trip for the royal couple since Charles became king a little more than a year ago, and their first to Africa. Kenya holds symbolic significance for Charles' family because of what it represented for his late mother.
Kenya is where the Queen's reign, Queen Elizabeth II, King Charles's mother, it's where her reign began. She learned that her father died in Kenya. And somewhat conversely, although the post-independence period has had its ups and downs, the UK and Kenya have maintained some very close ties.
Olivia O'Sullivan says there are many shared priorities between the two governments.
There are ties between their militaries. They share military training on occasion. More recently, the UK has kind of sought to position itself as a bit of a leader in tackling climate change, particularly the last COP, which the UK hosted in Glasgow. And Kenya too, President Ruto in particular, has sought a leading voice and a leadership role on climate change.
King Charles and President William Ruto are expected to discuss the climate crisis, the importance of conservation efforts, and working together on national security, the King's Deputy Private Secretary, Chris Fitzgerald, said earlier this month. This trip comes as the African nation celebrates 60 years of independence from Britain.
If we're to look back with the benefit of retrospect, we would say that the history that's shared between Kenya and the United Kingdom, in the very first part, is a very violent kind of memory.
Javas Bigambo recalls Kenya's hard-fought struggle against British colonialism.
There was the issue of picking up or taking up the land of the locals when Kenya was British protectorate from 1901. Through the time of the struggle for independence, the Mau Mau struggle, where a number of Kenyans suffered in the hands of the British.
10 years ago, Britain apologized and agreed to pay compensation to thousands of veterans of the Mau Mau nationalist uprising in Kenya, which was brutally suppressed by the British colonial government in the 1950s. The Kenya Human Rights Commission estimated that 90,000 Kenyans were killed and 160,000 detained. In Kenya, Mau Mau veterans and campaigners welcomed the apology at the time, but said the compensation of about $3,500 per victim was not enough for the pain, suffering, and long-term effects the community endured. King Charles will spend 4 days in Kenya, 2 in Nairobi and 2 in the coastal city of Mombasa. While in Nairobi, he'll meet with President Ruto, toward Uhuru Gardens, and attend a banquet at the State House, among many other planned activities. Mariama Diallo, VOA News, Nairobi.